Part of my story is I had a bad history with the church and with organized religion. I came out of the closet when I was 18, and my parents went through a divorce, and I used religion as a crutch. Quite honestly, looking back, and got involved in a very fundamentalist Christian group on campus, and went back into the closet and got involved in the ex-gay ministry and tried to become straight. Went to Homosexuals Anonymous, the whole 9 yards, and had 4 miserable years at college as I look back. And when I left college and came back out of the closet, lost all those friends from that religious organization. And so that left a really bad taste in my mouth about religion and about organized groups. But I knew at my heart that spirituality was important and faith was important to me, even though I really didn't know what that meant and how to live that out. I knew I had a physical part of me, an intellectual, an emotional part of me, and a spiritual dimension. Eventually I was able to reconcile some of that past and some of that pain, and started going back to church. And so when I moved back to the Indianapolis area with my partner at the time, we were looking for churches. And I remember we started looking at several different places. Broadway was one of them, and we came in, and I just remember loving the traditional building, the music, the organ, the hymns, and yet the message was very different. It wasn't the message that I got growing up, and it wasn't the message that I definitely got in college, that being gay was wrong and that I needed to cross my legs right and become straight. And I remember calling up another Methodist church in Greenfield, actually, and saying, hey, we're church shopping. We live in Greenfield. We're kind of looking at some places in Indianapolis, but we would much rather have a church home in our community. Can you tell me about your church? And the minister asked me, what other churches are you looking at? And I said, Broadway. And there was this pause, I remember, and he said, oh, well, we're not quite the same as Broadway. Not all Methodist churches are like Broadway. But you would be welcome here. We definitely love the sinner. We just wouldn't be able to support the sin or love the sin, something along those crazy lines. And I thought, I did that for years. I'm not going to choose to go to a place where they tolerate me, but don't really welcome me and all the fullness that I bring. And so I respectfully, told them that I appreciated that and that I would not be coming to this church. And it turned out Broadway is where we made our home. There were several reasons, but one of them was just the community, and that Broadway, I always call it the Sister Act Church, that we do a lot in the community, and it's not under the guise of how do we get more people into the pews and how do we convert you to our way of thinking. It's just we live in this community, our building is in this community, and we want to be a part of the people that live around here, and that's it. There's no strings attached. And that's a real big part of not only why I go to Broadway, but why when I moved from Greenfield, I located myself within the neighborhood. And so that's kind of why I have chosen Broadway as my family. We say that we have our family of origin and our family of choice. And for me, this is my community of choice and my family of choice. And I would welcome you to or invite you to come and try Broadway out, try one of our services, see what you think, and if you like it, great, stay. If not, then I would at least encourage you to think about your spiritual aspect and your spiritual journey. I think that a lot of gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgendered people are so hurt by our experiences with the church that we reject that altogether. And I think as whole beings, it's important to reintegrate some level of spirituality, whether that's of the Christian faith or the Buddhist faith or, non-denominational whatever, is just find that spiritual life and wholeness and healing. What we always say, it's the difference between spirituality and religion. And religion is what hurt me. Religion was my crutch when my world was falling about. I have a very different relationship now with faith and spirituality.